I think we should settle this before the wedding." The room went silent, and the crackling fireplace seemed to disappear as Ethan's father slid a thick white envelope across the table. It stopped inches from my plate. Only one word was printed across the front: family. I picked it up. "My name is Richard Walker. I'm 72, and most people who meet me assume I'm just another retired old man stretching Social Security. My truck is 20 years old. My coat has a repaired sleeve. None of those assumptions have ever bothered me, because none of them are true. What very few people know is that I retired from the United States Army as a 4-star general after nearly 4 decades of service. My pension alone runs a little over $28,000 a month. Comfort was never something I felt the need to advertise, especially after losing my wife Margaret. She had a saying she repeated every Christmas: "Richard, if you ever want to know someone's character, let them believe you have nothing." Emily had begged me to spend Christmas with Ethan's family before the wedding. I accepted, though I'd already noticed changes in Ethan over the past year. Nothing dramatic, just an accumulating arrogance that hid behind good manners. He judged restaurants by valet parking, spoke differently to waiters than to business partners, glanced around my living room like he was wondering why anyone still owned furniture older than their grandchildren. That morning I wore my oldest brown coat on purpose. Emily hugged me at the door. Ethan appeared and said, the way he always did, "Merry Christmas, Richard." Never Dad. He eyed my coat. "You should let Emily buy you a decent one." His father shook my hand, and unlike his son, kept his eyes on my face, not my clothes. That detail stayed with me. At dinner, the talk ran to vacation homes and stock portfolios. Ethan told a story about a coworker. "If you're still broke after 65, you probably made bad decisions your whole life." His mother added, sympathetically, that it must be hard living on a fixed income. Before I could answer, Ethan said, "Richard manages." I only smiled. I wasn't there to defend myself. I was there to observe. Then, over coffee, Ethan's father stood, retrieved the sealed envelope from the sideboard, and slid it toward me. "I think we should settle this before the wedding." Inside was a premarital property agreement. I read it in silence for 2 full minutes. No one breathed. When I finally set it down, Ethan said, "I'm sure you understand. It's standard these days." I said every family should protect what they've worked for, and relief crossed his face. Only his father kept watching me, like he suspected something the rest of the room had missed. I kept reading. Most of the document protected Ethan's assets. Then came a page describing Emily's financial position. Current assets minimal, expected inheritance unknown, net worth estimated under $80,000. I nearly smiled, not because it was funny, but because it was so completely wrong, and because someone had clearly painted my daughter as entering this marriage with nothing. Ethan's mother, trying for small talk, asked what I'd done before retiring. I served in the Army. How long? 38 years. What rank? Before I could answer, Ethan cut in. "Mom, military people never like talking about themselves." He'd unknowingly rescued me. His father noticed the interruption too. Later, I gave Emily my Christmas gift, a handmade walnut keepsake box, 3 weeks in the making, no nails, no hidden joints, carved inside the lid. Family isn't built by money, it's built by showing up. Emily cried and hugged me. Ethan said, "It's nice," and turned back to the designer watch his parents had given him, admiring it aloud, then told me I should let Emily upgrade my old field watch too, the one Margaret gave me 25 years ago. "It still reminds me of someone," I said. He didn't understand. Emily did. On the back porch afterward, Ethan's father spoke without turning around. "You were an officer." I was. "What rank?" I said only that I'd retired satisfied. He nodded slowly. "I don't think you've told my son everything." "No. I don't think you've told Emily everything either." "No." Then, quietly, "My son's gotten too impressed with success. I was hoping tonight I'd be wrong." Back inside, I picked up the envelope once more. "If Emily signs this tomorrow," I asked Ethan, "what exactly will she be protecting?" He listed his business, his investments, his accounts. "The problem isn't what you're protecting," I said. "It's what you're assuming." I tapped the line estimating Emily's net worth. "Have I ever discussed my estate with you?" I asked her. "No." "Shown you my accounts? My trust documents?" "No." I reached into my coat. Not for a wallet, but a thin leather folder I always carried. I slid my retired military ID across the table. Ethan picked it up first. His face lost its color. General? His mother took the card and froze. Emily's mouth fell open. Dad, you were a general? A 4-star general. She started crying. Why didn't you tell me? You never asked. I wanted you to know me, not my rank. Ethan's father said quietly. I thought so. Ethan finally managed. How much? I told him. A little over $28,000 a month. Silence swallowed the room. I wasn't finished. I laid out trust summaries. The house already in Emily's name, the lake cabin, the investment accounts, education trusts for future grandchildren, charitable funds. The attorney's estimate that she owned almost nothing suddenly looked absurd. She wasn't entering this marriage empty-handed. She was entering it stronger than anyone in the room had imagined. Ethan sank onto the couch, the confidence gone out of him. I owe you an apology. For what? I asked. He looked at my old coat by the door. I judged you. I assumed if someone looked poor, he probably was. That's an honest answer, I said. Emily said quietly. I've been trying to tell you that for months. His mother apologized too, admitting her questions about my fixed income had come from pity, dressed as kindness. Then Ethan's father stood by the tree. I didn't have that agreement drawn up, because I thought Emily wanted your money, he said. I had it drawn up to find out whether my son still believed money was the only thing worth protecting. He listed it plainly. Ethan skipping his grandmother in assisted living, mocking a cousin's modest wedding, laughing at a friend's old truck, and tonight, introducing a good man as though he needed saving. Ethan didn't argue. He walked to the door, picked up my old coat, and carried it back like it weighed something. I looked at this coat and thought it told me who you were, he said. It never crossed my mind that maybe it was telling me who I was. He handed it to me. I'm sorry, Richard. Try again, I said. He hesitated, then said it for the first time. I'm sorry, Dad. He wouldn't let Emily sign the agreement that night. I need to understand something first, he told me. How do you spend 40 years as a respected general and live like none of it mattered? Because it didn't, I said. The day I retired, I wasn't a general anymore. One day your business belongs to someone else. One day every dollar any of us have belongs to somebody else. What remains is how people remember being treated by you. His father put a hand on his shoulder. I don't care whether you marry into wealth. I care whether you become a man worthy of your wife. 3 days later, Ethan came by alone, with coffee from my usual diner. We sat with a photograph of Margaret and me outside our first house, 1,200 square feet, porch leaning, both of us happier than two people had any right to be. The happiest years of our marriage happened before we had very much, I told him. I think you've been running someone else's race. He handed me an envelope of his own, the prenup, stamped void across every page. He and Emily were drafting new documents instead, protecting them equally, and starting a foundation for veterans and military families. The wedding was postponed 4 months at his request. I want to earn this marriage, he told Emily. In that time he started visiting the VA with me monthly, learned to just listen. He learned the name of the waitress who'd spilled water, Martha, and greeted her by name every time after. Small, unwitnessed kindnesses. Character isn't one conversation. It's what you do after nobody's watching. The wedding came on a warm Saturday in May, at the small church Margaret had loved. I wore my old coat to the parking lot, not out of need, but memory. Ethan pulled my field watch from his pocket, cleaned, serviced, scratches and faded numbers intact. I respected your rank the night I found out who you were, he said, but I've spent 4 months respecting the man you chose to be. That's the only promotion that matters now, I told him. People ask if that Christmas dinner changed our family. Wrong question. It didn't change us. It revealed us. Real wealth was never my pension or my investments. It was watching 2 families become one, not because of money, but because truth finally made room for grace.